Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. For those of you that are regulars to my channel, I do apologise, this is something slightly different to what I would normally do. You do know that I don't usually do videos for children. However, we're in quite a peculiar situation at the moment. Lots of people who are in lockdown having to homeschool. I find myself very fortunate, I feel very fortunate that I don't have children of school age, and I really do feel for people trying to keep the little ones entertained. And that's why I thought I would do this today really. It's a very gloomy day, it's very cold and it's very grey, so I thought we really need an injection of colour and something really bright and cheerful and something very simple and easy to do. And in actual fact, if you haven't got children and if you've come on the channel expecting the usual thing of something that you can maybe do along with me, you can do it. It doesn't have to be for children. It's an imaginary bird, it's with lots of colour and it's going to cheer us all up. So, and you might want to make it a little bit more realistic, you might want to alter things slightly if you're a bit more experienced with your painting and drawing, but it's for everybody to do. You can all have a go. So really the main thing is you need some paper. I've got a mixed media pad because I'm going to be putting some paint onto that. You don't have to use paint, you can use crayons, whatever you've got to hand that's nice and colourful. I've got a pencil and eraser, and I've got two things to draw around. So I've got a large circle and a much smaller circle, and so you need to find two things in the home that you're going to be able to make those two circles from. Maybe an egg cup or a mug, anything like that. So to begin with, we want one large circle in the centre of the page and draw around that quite nicely like that. And then your smaller circle, now we're doing an imaginary bird, so this is entirely up to you. This is the centre of the bird. You might want to put the head up here like it's looking upwards. You might want to put the head down here like it's pecking the ground, or over here. That's entirely up to you because birds can move their heads around. So the main thing is you need to leave a little gap between the big circle and the small circle. If you leave about a finger's width, that should be enough. This is a pot of paint that I'm using, but like I said, something like an egg cup or maybe a 2p piece or something like that, depending on the size of your piece of paper and how big you want to make your bird. Okay, so you need to end up with a larger circle and a smaller one that little distance away. Once you've got those two circles on your paper, you then want to do a curved line, curving inwards from one circle to the next, and exactly the same on the other side, curving inwards and out again. So we've got a basic shape of the bird starting to come there, his head down to his body. And then we want to put a tail on. Now again, you might want the tail pointing towards the floor, you might want it pointing up a bit, or you might want it straight out. And it really doesn't matter how long it is, that's entirely up to you. This is an imaginary bird, it's not a real one. So I'm just going to put it more or less straight out, and then a curve, and then back again. And then I'm going to do the wing. Again, I'm going to do a curve for the top of the wing, a straight line down, a curve around, and then back again. Okay, so we've got the tail and we've got the wing, and then you can get rid of that line there. And then you might want to put your bird sitting on something. You might want to do a log underneath. So we'll do a very simple log shape. Curve that at the end, do a bit of an oval at this end, very, very simple, and then put the leg coming down and the feet going over the log, and then another foot going off behind. Not sure how many toes, but again, it's an imaginary bird, so it doesn't really matter. And get rid of that top line of the log there where the foot is, and then you can put the other leg in if you want. Again, going round the back, and we'll just put one toe coming over this side as if maybe the rest of them are off around the back there. Okay, and then we're going to put his eye somewhere around here. They're usually more to the top of the head than in the centre, so go a little bit further up than halfway. Maybe put a pupil in, and then the beak. And again, you can do the beak as long as you want it or as short as you want it. and you can do it sharp or you could do it more rounded. That is entirely up to you. So there you go, you've got your bird shape, the very basic bird shape. So what we're going to do next is to make this shape more permanent by putting it in pen. The pen I'm using is a Unipin fine liner, and that's the size 0.5, and this is fade proof and waterproof. So when you come to put your paints on it, the pen won't dissolve, but also it won't fade over time. Now if you haven't got a drawing pen or something like this that you can use, don't worry, you can go ahead and do the whole thing in pencil and then colour it in just the same. So it's not essential that you have a pen, but if you have, it's quite nice to use. So now I'm going to go over these pencil lines and then afterwards erase them. And take your time doing this, make it nice and neat. Before I carry on, I just wanted to point out that I've not put the ink on this line here, so really that wants rubbing out actually. Now you just want to let the ink dry a little time before you go and rub out those lines. You'll notice I've not put the ink on these two lines either, and then we'll come and put some pattern on. So just let that ink settle into the paper and dry, and then erase those lines, and then we're going to put some pattern onto that. Now we've got rid of all those pencil lines, it's already starting to look a bit smarter, but we're going to put lots of imaginary pattern on him now, and you can do this however you want. Like I said earlier, if you're wanting to do it a little bit more realistic, you might want to put some feather shapes on, but I'm not going to. I'm going to make it a little bit more abstract than that. So I'm going to start by popping a line across there to make an end to that tail so that we can fill in these patterns here. I'm going to bring that down there. And then I'm going to make some sort of triangles and lines. But do make them, although it's imaginary, do make them go in the direction that they would naturally go with the bird. So you want it to flow quite nicely. And then the wing, I'm going to make that look quite natural, as it perhaps would be in segments for the feathers. And it gives us a nice big space to colour in. So those are the only ones I'm going to keep like that, and the rest of it I'm going to make him a bit more jazzy. So I'm going to make some shapes that are going to flow as they would normally do. I'm going to make a little eyebrow shape, and then I'm going to fill in lots of different sort of shapes. Some I'm going to make squiggly and some I'm going to make very straight. And you're going to have a lot more time than me just to think about where you want to put this pattern. Make some bubbly shapes and some triangle shapes and some little lines, some sort of teardrop shapes, some watery shapes, a nice big circle, all sorts of different things that you can do to fill this in. But as you're doing it, think about the shape of the bird and have them flowing in this direction. Lots of nice enclosed spaces for you to get in and colour. And you might want to put some segments across the shapes that you've made. Make extra pattern for extra colouring in practice. And we can do the same on the log. So let's have a nice stripy log, and this is going to give us lots of spaces to practice that colouring in between the lines and to get all those lovely bright colours in, because it's not going to be an ordinary bird. This is going to be a very, very colourful, jazzy bird. And he doesn't have to be stood on a log. You could put him on a beach, you could do the sun behind him, you could put him in amongst some flowers, anything at all that you want to do. You can expand this out, pop some flowers, do some more birds, because of course we know how to do them now, so you could do them all different sizes on a big sheet of paper. And I'm going to put some lines around his legs like that as well, again, just to make him a bit more jazzy when we come to put the colours on. Okay, so that's as much as I'm going to draw on there. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a photograph of this, and you'll be able to get that as a PDF if you want to, and I will just put that for free on my website. So I'll put the link to that down below in the description if you want to print this off at home and colour in, but of course you'll be doing your own to colour in. I'm not going to continue and carry on doing the whole thing colouring in. That's sort of for you to do once you've done your own drawing. I just really wanted to show you how to do the drawing and pop some pattern on and have a bit of a fun with shapes. But if you want some nice bright colours, you could use something like the Koh-i-Noor. I'm not sure if I've pronounced that correctly, but I'm sure some of you have seen these little discs, which are very handy, and they have some really nice bright colours. Of course, you could use felt tip pens, you could use coloured pencils, you could use your watercolours, your acrylics, whatever you work with and whatever you've got handy at home you can use. But these are lovely bright colours, and with these I would just use them straight from the pan to make them nice and bright. And start off with something like the eye, which is yellow, and when you come to doing your painting or your colouring in with whatever you're using, just think about the way your colours sit next to each other. So if you put in yellow in one segment, you might want a different colour there, and so they're not all sat next to each other, they're all sort of mixed up and muddled up and lots of psychedelic things going on, haphazard. Try and use every colour that you've got. If you've got a big set of pencils, try and use them all. If you are doing painting, have a nice point on your brush so that you can get into all those shapes. Okay, and have fun colouring all that in. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you found that useful. I hope you have lots of fun making all different sorts of birds. As I said earlier, try a few different ones. Try them with the tails up in the air. Try them with the head down here pecking onto the floor. All you have to do is put your circles in different positions, and try altering your patterns as well. Do something very different. Your whole wing could be covered in little dots and circles that you could spend hours colouring in. So the more pattern you do, the longer it's going to take for you to colour that in. So thank you very much for watching. I'll be back again soon with another one of my tutorials or demonstrations. Not sure what medium it'll be next time yet, but we'll have to wait and see. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.